Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Nicolette Nierras, founder of Nick Nierras Holistic Lifestyle, a coaching platform dedicated to helping individuals achieve balance, success, and inner peace through holistic methods. She's also a podcast host of the You Are Worthless podcast. So where we'll talk about that also. And her mission is to empower individuals, particularly women, to break free from limiting beliefs, emotional obstacles, and unfulfilling careers to create lives of purpose, happiness, and abundance. Welcome to the show, Nicolette.
Oh, AJ, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Always blows my mind whenever a new host introduces me. You guys have a different format, so thank you. Really appreciate it.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Nicolette. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll learn from you about redefining success, redefining and embracing self worth, all these things. But first, let's understand a bit about you, about how you change your own life, chartered accountancy to this becoming a coach. So help us understand, take us through a bit of your journey, your background, so that the audience learns who they are listening to.
Do you have a time limit? Because this alone can become a podcast of its own.
You can
This
take as
journey.
much as 5 minutes, no problem.
Okay. Okay, so AJ, thank you for asking that question. I started off as a kid who's the good girl, where my dad always said to me, education is key. So the key to changing your life is education. So well, off I went with that belief that you're gonna get good education, go for your universities, get good grades, and then get a good job. So I followed that all through, and then I couldn't wait to enter the workforce at 19. So usually when you finish a degree, only you enter the workforce. So for me, it's different. I wanted to earn my own money first. So 19, I went. I left home, and I went to the capital of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. So right now I am back. It's a full circle moment for me. I'm back to my hometown, Sandakan, as we speak. And so my journey was from KL, and then that's when I started climbing the corporate ladder. So chartered accountancy, I was working full time. I was working full time first, and then my dad said to me, "Okay, you need to support yourself, please. I'm cutting you off of my support. You can ask me for money here and there, but not fully." So that's when I decided, okay, full time working, part time studying, and I did that for about 4 years, 5 years. So thankfully, my papers, which was ACCA, that enabled me to do that. So I finished 2015, and I also at the same time finish off my 3 year practical requirements. So I was hitting two birds with one stone. Finish my degree, finish my ACCA, and at the same time co- gaining the membership, right? So, okay, now that's the first part. And of course, studying was. I knew that studying wasn't everything. I wanted to try love, the love department. So off I went. I never had boyfriends before when I was in my hometown. So when I was out, then okay, I was in relationship, and so 2015, I met my now ex. Okay, and then I don't know, things just one thing led to another, and then this, I think 2 years after, we decided to get married, and it was at the height of my career. But things did not work out, so we got divorced by 2 years after, and from there onwards, I felt lost. Not kind of. I was lost because why isn't anybody why aren't people loving me, the way that I should be loved? And I think that pivotal moment came when I said I shut the door on love, and I focused full time, 1000% on my career. And also COVID happened, and that hit me hard as well. I had to take a sabbatical, because of the burnout. Um, it wasn't AJ. It wasn't working out for me anymore. So that's when I started feeling worthless. Who am I in this world? And that's when I started turning to psychology. I went into Mind Valley. I don't know if the listeners are familiar with that. And then I came across Marissa Pierce talking about subconscious, how you actually can change your life. So I, again, the overachiever that I am, I went and enrolled myself in that course, hypnotherapy course, RTT, while because I knew that I don't want to be in corporate any longer. I want to help people see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that's when it just slowly transitioned. Actually, this year itself, I have left. I left the job. I left my 9 to 5 in May, and right now I am back home. I'm working. And that's also the impetus of my podcast, Your Witless. Uh, yeah. So that is a brief journey, a brief story of my journey. I hope that answered. And then I'm pretty sure the next question I could break it down to the parts of the journey.
Right, right, Nicolette. It was more to understand your perspective, the person behind all these things, and that's the whole. Not about whether one what exactly you have achieved, but in terms of who you are, and what better than rather than me coming in between and telling about you. However way I tell it, it is better to address the audience yourself. And that's the whole point of getting that way you connect with the audience yourself, and I only become the medium through is because I get to listen to your story and also perhaps represent the audience in that manner to ask you a few things which they want to perhaps understand. So
Thank you.
why does one have to feel worthless just because a few things are not going good in life? It happens with everyone. It happens with everything. Even the sun goes off for certain hours in one particular part of the world. It comes out in another part of the world. You know, this will keep on happening. The sunshine and the shadows will keep on happening. How do you want to tell them out of your experience now? Do you still feel the same, or now it's all over? And that is where I want to understand your perspective.
AJ, I mean, I'm human. You're human too. There are times when we feel defeated, right? We want to do something. Uh, we we know. Okay, we know that we want to get that something. That's a goal in life. I don't know what that is, whether it's monetary or a status, or if you would buy a car or houses, right? It doesn't matter. But you if you set your sight on that goal, you would try your very best to get it. But oftentimes, life or noises around you can and will bring you down. Now, how who are you when you are faced with that setback, right? And like you said, the sun comes up, the sun gives way, the day gives way to the night, and vice versa. But when you are defeated in the sense that one thing after another, it feels there's no way out. And when you're really at the dark pit, that's when you can actually question yourself, who am I in this world? Like, why me? Why does this keep happening to me? Why can't it be anybody else? And in that moment, you will feel, uh why am I not worthy of all the good things that I want in my life? And then that's when you said, and this is what, because I also study about mental health, right? Psychology, the side of things. This is when depressed people actually feel when there's no way out. So I just want to say, if anybody out there listening at this point, if this is what you feel, whether you're in a tumultuous relationship, whether you're in a, excuse my language, shitty job, or just you don't feel like you belong in your community or in the world, I understand, I hear you, and it's valid that you feel that. I'm not gonna invalidate that. But you must understand that there's always the day the sun is gonna keep shining. It's easier said than done, but if you really, because of course there are degrees to how severe you need help with, right? Especially with mental health that's plaguing the generation now. But yes, do seek help and actually start speaking. Yeah, and you can come to me, of course.
Right. So how should one look at, self-worth? You see, if I understand,
Ooh,
I've never been to Malaysia,
okay.
but if I understand there is this Petronas Towers, very, very
Yes,
huge,
very very
very,
big.
very tall, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, and
if we see it from below, we'll have to stretch our head and we'll feel perhaps small, depending on how
mm,
you look at it. If you
mm,
go on
mm,
top
mm.
of the towers, from there, if you see the world will look a bit different. And but
Yes,
you work in one of those towers, you will feel you have achieved and
somebody.
somebody.
Yes.
So is it you, or is it the perspective? So I want to understand then,
Ah.
how should we look at self-worth in our lives? You are an achiever. A setback here and there does not change the perspective. So who decides your self-worth? Is it the society? Is it a job? Is it something else? Is it some failed relationship? Is it some good relationship? Is it is it some friends? Is it somewhere? Or you decide your own self-worth?
I think we all know it's not a rocket science. It's a rocket science question, AJ. It's actually us. And I want to supplement that with this. If you were to take everything out that you have achieved, the cars, the houses, the properties, the jewelry, whatever, right? The statuses, the first class, business class, whatever traveling miles that you have, if you strip that away, if you could strip that away right now, I want you to ask yourself, who are you? What do you bring to, when I say table, it means it could be your community. Who are you if you're a daughter to your parents, to your wife, to your husband, to your sister, to your brother, to your cousins, right? And if you are brave enough to face that self, and if you like what what you're about to answer, okay, that means you're on the right path. You're doing something right. But if you don't like it, okay, so what are you going to do about it? Are you going to change it? Now, and that again coming back to your question and the answer that we all know, but we choose to close the blind eye or sweep under the rug, that is to look within. I can tell you, I think when you're on your, anybody listening that's on their deathbed, they're not going to say, oh, I wish I could have accumulated another billion, right? The only thing they say, oh, I wish I could have played with my dogs more or spent time with my ailing parents or just, be out there and really enjoy. If you're not the extroverted person, just enjoy the ice cream. So yes, 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 yes. No, this external thing, no, X is you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Enjoy the ice cream. Not just sitting inside a big tower, but going on top of it or going down of it, but feel yourself wherever you are. And then you will be able to enjoy. So, what are you, have you moved out of that situation now? Moving out of that and becoming this holistic lifestyle, founder of holistic lifestyle now? Doing what
Okay.
you love?
Thank you for that question, AJ. Yes, I admit that I was the one chasing all those material things. So I did achieve the car that I wanted, the some amount that I had defined for myself is successful for me, and property, and then I wouldn't say glamorous, but the lifestyle. But then after everything, the setbacks that happened to the relationship, that kind of forced me to reframe my mind, and the prestigious job, that if I were to continue on that path to, let's say, becoming a partner or becoming a CEO it's not wrong. Okay, it's not wrong. But am I had to ask myself, what am I expensing in it, while I'm on that journey? am I expensing my relationship with my parents, or my sister, or my family, or my old co-workers that I actually love very much. So I didn't want to be this, I wouldn't say fake Nicolette, but the one who's just going in front, but just hustle, 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 grind, 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 getting all the money and the achievement, but I'm losing the connection that I actually value. That, because this is what I say: if I were to leave the earth today, am I gonna be satisfied of how I've left it, the relationship that I've left it, with the people that I've encountered with, and and that's why made the conscious decision to transition from my 9 to 5. I, of course, then the question comes, the bills, right? What? How are you going to support yourself? So I was not um, embarrassed because thank God I actually I kept good relation with my father, my parents. So I have to admit, yes, he did help me. But of course, a big part of it also comes from me making the decision, okay, and convincing him, showing him walk the talk that okay, I want to transition out, I want to start my own business. And he saw the belief that I have in myself, and well, the track record that I had. I didn't do anything crazy when I was away from home, and that's the belief, the trust that he had in me. So to answer you, I'm in I'm in that journey right now, slowly. To be honest, I started it 1.5 years ago, so now fully embracing that. Okay, I'm in this spot, and I'm appearing on shows right now to tell that exactly. So I don't want to mask that it's an easy journey, because it's not. I can tell you, it is not, and I don't want to put that gloss over. People say rose-colored glasses, right? That it is going to be an easy journey, but I believe I believe in this phrase, one of the all many mantras that I have, that the best seed to plant was 20 years ago, but the next best seed to plant is right now. So I'm telling you that yes, you might want to do this a long time ago, and then if you see somebody on TV, or even if you're listening to me right now, it's easy for her to say, it's easy for her to do it because she probably have planned it before. Then my argument to you is no, because everybody has that choice. You can make that choice right now, and then take that next step, because the key is executing. And decision.
Absolutely, absolutely, Nicolette. It takes a lot of courage, you see, not only to uh, appear on podcast, to also host a podcast. You have a podcast. I'll come to that, and also a lot of courage to name it "You Are Worthless" podcast. So we'll come to that part. But first, about the self doubt part.
Mhm.
A lot of
Oh
people
gosh.
take the refuge of going and achieving something to remove that self doubt, to bring that self belief.
Mm.
Many people will not be able to achieve what they set out, but that does not mean that they do not have worth. They have every bit of worth. So
Mhm.
should people tie themselves to their worth and their doubts to some achievement? How should they detach themselves? Because then it comes to that you are looking at others to validate you. I
Mm.
want to understand that from someone who has seen it. If you think yourself as a chartered accountant and only that life would validate you, you would not be talking about these things. That needs a lot of courage, to move away from what you have been trying to do to achieve most comfortable in, and getting into something which has its own section of challenges. Help us
Mhm.
understand from that perspective, Nicolette.
Oh, duh. Thank you for the brilliant question. Yes, you are right. Chartered accountancy, and to achieve it within, I don't know, 4 years. That's an achievement alone to me. But
The success rate in chartered accountancy all across the world is very, very small.
Exactly.
You know?
And this particular paper, I mean, of course, besides CFA, this AC, but ACCA itself, is one of the most difficult in the world. And for me to move away from it, it is okay. Come to think of it, AJ. Now that you asked me that, it is a way for me to prove to myself. You see, keyword prove, right? Prove, but not to anybody. To myself that I can actually do it. So I check that box. Okay, Nicolette, you've done it. You proved yourself. You're really good. And then now moving on to the next, talking to people, podcasting. How well am I? Do I really want to hone in and really want to talk to so many people and really gain my knowledge? And now I'm in the midst of it. And I said, okay, I'm pretty good at this. You can do it. So again, I'm checking that box as we speak. But I think the true question here, AJ, is or the if I could reduce to one thing, is that I'm competing, but who am I competing with? I'm competing with myself and my old self, right? Because okay, now, but when you say if you yes you have achieved all of that, but I haven't achieved, for those listeners that said, oh, I haven't achieved anything, I don't amount to anything right now, that's why I have self-doubt, I don't think that I can do anything. Well, have you asked yourself, did you actually go and uh you've ever helped a kitty or even fed a kitty with some food? That's already an act of compassion, right? It doesn't mean, all I'm saying is your self worth doesn't just, it's not monetary, it's who you are. Now, circling back again to what I said, if you are to strip away of your wins, and not just wins, your failures, if you are at school, your teachers are saying to you, why are you not passing? But at home, you're actually the one carrying the load in your family, selling food, or I don't know what you do. That is your work. That is your work to your family. And the work to you. And it can be very detrimental. You turn around and you see people driving BMW. You turn around, people driving this and that, or owning, buying. In Instagram, right? People are showing their vacations here and there. But and and that's again another, there's pros and cons to social media because we're all in it, and but the self doubt again comes. Okay, another tenet of it. Why do you think that you can't achieve something that you actually wish for? I can tell you, AJ, something must have happened between the years, normally, if not all, normally between the years of 0 to 7, because this is when you develop all beliefs and you absorb from your parents, from your community. So that's what I have to say. If you really want to work on your self doubt, number one, understand that external achievement is just going to be external. And if you strip yourself out of all of the things, who are you as a person? Remember that. And if you want to walk and push through that limiting beliefs that you have, now that's when you're elevating, right? It's when you start seeking help again, because and a lot of factors, but number one that I should say, one of the most important one, is who you surround yourself with. Your community, are they instilling doubt, or are they empowering you or lifting you up? Because your network is your net worth.
Absolutely. Absolutely,
Yes.
Nicolette. So when you talk of self-doubt, and self-worth, and we are trying to prove only to ourselves, then why do we forget to be kind to ourselves? Why we are most unkind to
Woo!
ourselves?
Yeah,
See,
powerful,
even
powerful question.
coming from this part of the world, even the mightiest of rivers, they change course as per what works for it.
Mm.
You know, why should we have so much of ego? Why should we only walk the way when others want we? We can change course, whatever works for us best. That's why I brought the river perspective. Help us understand.
River. Now, what is river made of? Water. Water? What does water do? It molds itself into the spaces that it is directed to, right?
We are 70%
Um,
water ourselves.
exactly. Thank you. And then, well, if you bring in the astrology part of it, the moon affects the tide, right? And we are 70% water, and that's why the moon affects our mood. But that's another separate story. So, in your question, you even the mightiest of river changed its course. Again, that's why I'm asking the listeners. Even the mightiest river can change its course. I think the Everest too. I don't know what's happening in Mariana Trench right now, or the other trenches that they have discovered at this point. Um, if they can change, nature has been here billions of years ago. Why can't you? Why are you limiting yourself to just what you know and what the society or the TV portrays to you? That's why. Isn't this an illusion? If we're gonna go into spirituality, isn't this all the metrics? If we, but I believe the consciousness is raising, people are more aware. You asking that kind of questions, and then I also ask that in my podcast, just shows that people are waking up. So, and now back to your question, even the mightiest river changed its course. Yeah. So, why can't you?
Right. You changed from, as from chartered accountant to opening this Nick Nierras holistic lifestyle thing. Here also you must have faced challenges. What
Oh,
challenges did you face? How did you deal with them?
so okay. I think I would say the journey of how I founded this. So now I was working 9 to 5, my last job, right? And I enrolled myself in that RTT course. And in that RTT course, you could finish it for as early as 6 months. But then I said to myself, because I had wordlessness issue due to my failed relationship. I wouldn't say failed because that sounds so bad. Um, Unsuccessful relationship, and then the job wasn't doing very well. So I said to myself, okay, and now I'm about to help people overcome similar experiences. But I said to myself, why would people pay me? Why would people pay to listen to my advice, right? So again, I knew that I had something to give and something to share. But I again wanted to again prove myself or just making myself better by talking to people. So that's actually the start of my podcast. And I name it You're Worthless because that's the monologue that I have to myself. Actually, over COVID 2020 and 2021 was the really, I would say I was at my lowest. So as I had to wake up saying, I found myself saying you're worthless when I know that is obviously not the case, because if I'm worthless, why did I manage to achieve all that I have achieved? And then really understood that whatever that was projected onto me, which was coming externally, was from the person themselves. So I was basing my self-worth from their projection towards me, which I knew then that it wasn't me. It was their projection of their own insecurities. So that's how I slowly learned and say that you know what, I'm going to detach myself. I'm not worthless. I am worthy and I'm enough. So yeah.
Of course.
I'm
Of course. And that is why you are holding a trip, planning for a retreat with the theme "You are worthy and you are enough." That will come
Yes.
in 20 next year.
Yeah.
That's the transformation that the world will see. Even in terms of words. So tell us about that retreat also.
Yeah, and well, apologies. You were asking me about how I transitioned to founding wholesale
Yes.
holistic lifestyle, right? So the challenges, of course, was to talk to the two most important person in my life, which are my parents, convincing them that their accountant daughter wants to move to this. I'm like, okay. And dad was like, are you sure? Okay, then I told him I am sure right now because I don't think I can enter the workforce again. I mean, I'm not saying no like forever because I'm very close. I'm a very the investing world and the accounting world is very near and dear to my heart because I look up to Tony Robbins and the way he teaches about investment, speaking. This is all a part of who I am right now. So I'm not gonna change that. So the challenges that I had with that was convincing them, and also convincing the community that okay, Nicolette is no longer a corporate girl, but she's now turning into entrepreneur. Entrepreneur. So the challenges I had was who do you think she is? You don't people don't come up to you, but they talk, right? But again, whatever stones that were thrown at my side, naysayers, I use it as a building block, and I just keep pushing through. I just push my content out there, and the podcast actually helps in building my self confidence day in and day out. So, uh the challenges were all those that I explained, but then most importantly, what did I do about those challenges? I'm scared, to be honest, AJ. I do wake up scared, but I knew that I had work to do. Like today, I had to speak to you. I've never spoken to you. I don't know what's it gonna be like, right? But I just do it anyway. I do it scared. But right now, I think I'm enjoying it very much.
Scaring, being scared is a part of our lives. That's what we are born on. That also keeps us on our toes. That also keeps us in the present. And being present in the moment is living that moment. Otherwise, if we are not scared, we will never be able to live that moment. And God wants us to live the moment rather than living the future in today's time. Everything is allocated in its own way in the scheme of the grand design of the Almighty. Be that as it may, there is much to learn from you about all these things, Nicolette, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn more about you, from you, about your holistic lifestyle coaching and all the retreats that you are planning. What's the best way for them to do so?
Thank you. Okay, so everybody listening out there, you can reach me if this is resonating. If your ears pricked up with any of the stories that I mentioned, we can connect through my website, the Nick Nierras holisticlifestyle.com. And for professional setting, I'm I am always hanging out on LinkedIn, and also my podcast, Your Wordless Podcast. It's on IG and it's on YouTube channel. The name's the same, and I'm also on TikTok, the Nick Nierras Podcast. And for if they want a sneak peek into hypnotherapy, I actually give samples. Actually, not sample. The full version of overcoming imposter syndrome, habits of successful people, and two other audios. Just a sneak peek into what my coaching style will look like. So hypnotherapy, it's about hypnosis and going into your conscious mind, subconscious mind. So yes, I'm on all social media platform, and you're welcome. If you just want to say hi, please do. I don't bite.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.